it's Nicole. Welcome to the channel. So today's video is for the newest release from Knees Lacquer. I have their new Heartless Hunter collection. This collection is inspired by the book by the same name. On top of having a 9-piece collection, we also have mystery bags as well as a new charity polish. And for the mysteries, of course, I will have spoiler warnings before the mystery polishes start, just in case anyone doesn't want to be spoiled. Although I do feel like, based on my comment section at least, I've yet to come across someone who really didn't want to be spoiled for the mystery bags, but that's neither here nor there. I'll give you a warning when they start. The Heartless Hunter collection goes on sale on April 19th on the Knees Lacquer website, as well as their international stockist pages, which of course I'll have all sale info at the end of the video, as well as written down in the description box. All of the products featured in today's video were sent to me by Knees Lacquer, and this video is sponsored, so thank you very much to Knees Lacquer for sponsoring today's video. So again, as always, in the description box, links to where you can pick these polishes up, links to all social media pages, my social media pages, and of course, timestamps are down there as well. Let's get into this video. First up, we have Mirage, which Knees describes as a mid-toned purple base with a glowy green to blue shifting shimmer, as well as a scattering of silver light reflective glitter. While the official description does say this is a purple base, I found on the nail it looks like a pinky purple. The formula on this was absolutely fantastic, not too thick or too thin. While the reflective glitter does give this one a little bit of texture, I found it's not nearly as gritty as some of the past reflective glitter polishes were. One coat of my glossy top coat smoothed this one out really nicely for me. As you can see here, this is an incredibly sheer polish. Even when built up in 3 coats, you will not be able to reach full opacity with this one. Obviously, you can use this one as a topper if you want, or use a visible nailing blurring base coat if that kind of thing bothers you. That kind of thing does not bother me a bit, and I thought this polish was absolutely gorgeous. The shimmer is so strong and color shifty, and was exactly as described. This is one of those shimmers that I find photographs a little bit more washed out, especially in brighter lighting. Color that you were seeing in the shimmer in my natural light shots, I would say that is more close to the color of the shimmer that I was seeing with my eyeballs in person. Because this polish has reflective glitter in it, it will of course be more difficult to remove. That is of course if you decide to scrub this one off. I will never recommend scrubbing off a glitter polish. Don't do it. But I really do not recommend scrubbing off a reflective glitter. I find these are a bit more scratchy than regular glitters, so definitely use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. And now we have casting, which Knees describes as a pink lemon sibling.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone?
Meaning this polish is in a clear base with a strong pink shimmer, as well as a scattering of silver light reflective glitter. I was so incredibly happy when I read the description on this polish as a pink lemon sibling. Lemon was one of my favorite Knees polishes from last year, so I was just like, very excited for this. Casting had a fantastic formula because this one is once again in a clear base. It will be incredibly sheer. I can honestly just see people buying this one to use as a topper, but I absolutely love this finish to just wear on its own in 3 coats. The shimmer in here is super strong and super glowy. It is a bit more color shifty on the nail than the description would make you think. I was able to easily see pink and orange on my nail. I could also see a hint of like a yellowy green at very extreme angles. And then of course the reflective glitter gives this one a ton of sparkles. While I do really love all of the lemon siblings that we've gotten thus far, I will still fully admit that in my mind a lemon sibling was going to be that same yellowy shimmer, but then the reflective glitter was different colors. But I feel like since Knees is opting to do different shimmers with the silver reflective glitter, it kind of gives more options for different siblings that they can do, so I can understand why they're not following the siblings how I would do it in my mind. Swatch casting in 3 coats plus 2 coats of top coat. I actually don't think the 2 coats were necessarily needed. I kind of reverted back to my default in using a glitter smoothing top coat and then my quick dry top coat, but I don't think that was actually really needed. And again, do not scrub off reflective glitter polishes, soak off method, or a peel off base coat. This next polish is called the Crimson Moth, and Knees describes it as a brick red with a glowy green shimmer loaded with hollow flakes. The Crimson Moth had a fantastic formula. On that first coat, it is a little bit sheer, but this one builds up very nicely in 2 to 3 coats. I'll be showing it in 3 coats here in the live swatch. I don't really think you can tell that big of a difference between 2 coats and 3 on camera. I found in person the 3rd coat added a little bit more opacity, as well as deepened up the base color just like a little bit. But once again, I don't think it's 100% necessary to do 3 coats, but that's what you get if you add your 3rd coat. I absolutely love the contrast between the base color and the shimmer in this polish. The shimmer is super strong and super glowy, and it also has a blue color shift to it. I'm pretty sure that these are the same hollow flakes that Knees often uses in their polishes, so they are very sparkly, very holographic. They give you a nice twinkle, but they do not dry down textured like a glitter, and they will not make removal overly difficult. difficult. The shade of red is a little bit lighter than what I personally consider a brick red, but as we learned this past fall, there's like 50 different shades of brick red. Again, nothing in here is going to dry down textured like a glitter, so removal won't be overly difficult, but the shimmer and flakies will stick to your fingers. Next up is Be Like the Mimic Spider, which Bees Knees describes as a charcoal base with a strong blue shimmer. I was really shocked when I found out that the base color for this polish is a charcoal. I thought for sure it was a prugly green. I found on the nail like it looks like a really ugly shade of green. I happen to have really liked it being an ugly shade of green, so I'm kind of taken aback that it's actually charcoal. Unless you use this one as a topper, I think this is going to be a solid 3-coater. The polish itself is fairly sheer. I did have obvious visible nail line with it. I also think this is one of those sheer shimmers that, depending on how thick of a coat you go in for, will depend on how opaque this one gets. I went in for fairly thin coats on my 4 fingers that you're seeing here. On my thumb, I kind of went in for a slightly thicker coat and it looked a lot more opaque on my thumb. It wasn't completely opaque, it just was a little bit darker. The shimmer in here is super strong and super glowy, and it had like a blue to a tealish blue kind of color shift. Wasn't the most in-your-face color shift, but I could still clearly see 2 different shades of blue. In here is going to be difficult to remove, and I had no problems with staining. And now we have Minora, which Bees Knees describes as a champagne brown with a silver magnetic shimmer. Minora had a fantastic formula. This is another fairly sheer polish, so you do need to build it up to get the most opacity. Minora is a fairly sheer polish, and it gets even more sheer once you magnetize it, so you really want to build this one up to get the most opacity going for you. I feel like the shade of brown is leaning a little bit towards terracotta, and I honestly didn't love it nearly as much as I thought I would. It magnetizes very easily, however, I did notice what appears to be some type of pigment specks on the nail. The pigment specks did dry down a little bit textured. I could feel them in a couple of places once I added top coat. I did give the brand a heads up about that. I haven't heard back yet, so I'm not sure if it is just a function of the type of magnetic pigment used, if it's like the actual pigment to color the polish. I don't know yet. Hopefully it won't be an issue for customer bottles. It's magnetized super easily for me. For my full-length swatches, I did use a ring style magnet, and as per usual, I only magnetized the final coat of polish. Nothing in here is going to be overly difficult to remove, and once again, this is a fairly sheer polish, so whether or not you magnetize it, you will still have visible nail line, but it will be significantly more sheer magnetized. And now we have Arcana, which the brand describes as a red to gold multi-chrome base with a violet to blue magnetic shimmer. As someone who usually does not fall super hard for magnetic polishes, this one just knocked my socks off completely.
Hot diggity dog!
Arcana had a fantastic formula. It applied so nicely, and it is so color shifty on your nails. The multi-chrome base has a beautiful red to gold with green at very extreme angles, and then the magnetic effect has a blue to purple color shift, which you're almost getting a full rainbow on the nails. It's close enough to make me very excited. For my full-length swatches, I use that big old 30-pound horseshoe magnet, try to give the velvet effect. I have learned that I don't really like how the velvet effect looks in photos, but like in person, it looks so damn cool. This has a very strong magnetic pull, but I noticed when I was doing my full-length swatches that it seems to magnetize a little bit differently. You can see here in this clip when I'm magnetizing with the ring magnet that I'm holding it a little bit differently than I normally do. And that's just because with this particular magnet, the line I normally get using it by putting my nail inside of the ring, it was not really showing up that way. So that's why for the live swatch, I held that one towards the side. Again, I do still think this magnetizes easily, but depending on how you normally hold your style of magnet, you might need to hold it differently to get the line to show up on the nail. Or into the velvet magnetic trend, I'd say this would be a fantastic polish to use for that. My full hand swatches show Arcana in 2 coats on my pointer and pinky fingers, and then in 3 coats magnetized on my middle nail and my ring finger. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured or be difficult to remove, and I had no issues with staining. And now we have Earth Sunderer, which Bees Knees describes as a grungy brown with a strong purple to pink shifting shimmer. Earth Sunderer also had a fantastic formula. This one is another sheer polish, so you will need to build it up to get the most opacity going. However, even in 3 coats, you still will not be able to reach full opacity. With this one, you will still have fairly obvious visible nail line. This has a very prugly vibe going with it, which I really appreciate. I'm not quite sure what Sarah added to this one to make it more of a grungy brown. I feel like, to my eye at least, it leans more of like a greenish brown. The shimmer in here is super strong and super super glowy. It really adds a lot of pretty to the very prugly vibes that you get from the base color on this one. While I always appreciate a prugly shade, and I definitely appreciate a brand releasing a brown because I feel like we do not get a lot of browns released in the nail polish world for some reason, there was also something about this one that like I didn't love, and I haven't yet decided what about it is that I didn't love. So that is 3 coats of Earth Sunderer, super easy removal and no issues with staining. This next polish is called Ghost Walker, and the brand describes it as a ghostly gray with a strong purple to pink shimmer. This is a sheer gray version to the polish that we just saw a moment ago. This is a very sheer one, and once again, even when built up in 3 coats, you will still have very obvious visible nail line. You'll be able to see your whole nail through the base. So you definitely need to build this one up to get any kind of color payoff on the nail. However, I do think because this one is so sheer, you can definitely use it as a topper. I found to my eye, the gray base for this one leans a little bit more towards taupey. I found especially on my nails, like it was more of like a taupey base than a gray base. I absolutely love how the shimmer looks in this polish, but once again, I wasn't completely in love with the base color at all, but the shimmer 100% got me. It's just a super duper glowy shimmer. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured. It's a shimmer polish, super easy removal, and I had no issues with staining. And the final polish in the main part of the collection is called Majora, and the brand describes this one as a mid-tone peach with a strong green shimmer. This is one polish in this collection that, like, in the bottle, I did not think anything of this one.
Boring.
I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then once I got it on my nails, it is just so glowy and strong, and I just love this color so very much. If it was left to me to describe the base color on this one, I probably would put it in the orangey yellowy category and not necessarily peachy. But I feel like that's just because of how the shimmer looks with the base color and not the actual base itself. Hopefully that made sense. The shimmer does show some brush strokes when the polish is wet, but they do all disappear as the polish dries down. While this still is a sheer polish, I did have some visible nail line with it. It's not as sheer as some of the other polishes in this release. The base is pretty even, so depending on how you feel about visible nail line, I could potentially see this being a 2 to 3 coater. Super easy removal, and I had no issues with staining. Hi, me again. Before we get into sale information, I did want to also include Knees Lacquer has a new charity polish where a portion of proceeds will be going to a charity called Doorways. There is currently a new charity collab going on right now in the indie nail polish space being run by Christina Ferrario. It is an organ donation charity. Each brand can choose their own charity to go with. The charity polish will be available on the same day as this collection, so let's get into the swatches for the charity polish. Okie dokie, so this polish is called Grateful, and Bees Knees describes it as a deep smoky purple base with purple shimmer and holographic flakes. It is priced at $14.50 for 15 ml and has no cap. Grateful had a fantastic formula. The base did not feel overly thick or thin, and I had 0 application issues. In comparison to the polishes in the main part of this collection, I was really surprised at how opaque this polish was. I only needed 2 coats to reach full opacity. This polish reminds me a lot of the Bees Knees Lacquer polish called Hot Dog. It seems like it's a flaky version to Hot Dog. I'm not going to say it's the exact same polish with flakies, but they remind me a lot of each other. Flakies in here do not dry down textured. They are soupity duper holographic. It was still pretty overcast when I got outside to show this one, so unfortunately you're not seeing too many rainbows out of it. For this one will not be overly difficult. You could scrub it off if you really wanted, but the flakies will make things fairly messy, so I wouldn't recommend it anyway. Alrighty, so final thoughts. Once again, I am very, very happy that this release has a whole variety of finishes as well as colors. I don't get any particular vibes off of the color story as a whole, but I feel like I don't often get a lot of vibes from Thanks, Nutter. Come here, little guy. Say hi, everybody. He never wants to spend time with me. Never. Out of all of our cats, Nutter is probably the one that likes to cuddle the very least. He's just not really a cuddle bug. But you know who is a cuddle bug? My Stormy girl. Are you here? Come on, Stormy. Say hi to everybody. I think the biggest surprise for me from this release was how much I really enjoyed the magnetic polish Arcana. I'm still not sure how to say that. I'll look it up before I start recording the live swatch. My notes on that, I wrote, wow, all capital letters, and I'm genuinely surprised how much I enjoyed that. Hi, editing Nicole. I accidentally messed up what polishes I wanted to say were my top picks. My top pick is going to be Arcana. My second top pick is going to be Casting. My final top pick is either going to be Mirage or Majora. I haven't decided which one I liked more, so it's one of those two. If you all would like me to do a comparisons live streams for this release, please let me know. If you also included included specific names of polishes that you would like to compare. It can be any brand. I can't guarantee that I have everything, but like if you see something that you think is comparable to something else, just, you know, let me know. Alrighty, as far as sale information goes for this release, this collection launches April 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Knees Lacquer website, as well as their international stockist pages. Knees Lacquer does ship internationally from the US on their main website. If you pick up the bundle listing with all 9 polishes, you will receive a 15% off discount. All of the polishes in this release are priced between $14 and $14.50 for 15 ml bottles. There are no limits on how many of polishes from the main part of the collection that you can purchase, and in typical fashion, there is a soft cap of 1,000 bottles per polish available to ship immediately. Once the initial 1,000 bottles sell out, each polish will go on a new pre-order, and there will be a mention in the listing if it is a new pre-order window. Collection will be available for a 1-week-long pre-order, and it closes on the 26th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And there will also be some overpours available this month from the Once Upon a Broken Heart collection, which I think was in February. As far as the new mystery bags go, the new mystery bags for this release are inspired by a book called A Tempest of Tea, and all the polishes in the mystery bag are going to be shimmers with light reflective glitter. I'm very excited. I'm definitely grabbing a mystery bag. The mystery bags are priced at $25 for 2 15 ml bottles, and there is a limit of 1 mystery bag per person, but not per household on the bags. And of course, if you're not a fan of mystery bags, all the polishes in these mystery bags will be available at a later date without the mystery portion, and all the polishes that are in the mystery bags will be priced at $14 when they're released individually. If you would like to see if you'd like to read all of the descriptions for each of the potential mystery polishes, I will have those linked in the description box on my blog post for the mysteries. So now that we talked about sale information, I am going to be getting into swatching the mystery polishes. There are a total of 8 mystery polishes total, and Beezney sent me 2 of them to swatch for you all today. If you are tapping out now because you don't want to be spoiled of the mysteries, I would love to know what you thought of this release. Are you planning on picking anything up from it? Do you like Knees Lacquer? Did your dog do something cool today? I don't know. Let me know all of your thoughts and feelings. For the rest of y'all who do want to be spoiled, let's just get into these mystery polish spoilers. And are you leaving again? He's leaving again. All right, let's go. And from the mystery bags, first up we have Dulce Periculum, which Beezney describes as a clear base with pink to green shifting shimmer and silver light reflective glitter. Once again, because this one is in a clear base, you will not be able to reach full opacity with it. In my personal opinion, when you have polishes that are this sheer in a clear base, I kind of feel like these are essentially toppers that you can choose to build up or use as a topper. I will be showing these polishes built up in 3 coats. The shimmer in here is absolutely stunning. It has a pink, orangey, yellow to green color shift. Largely what you see on the nail is the pink and the orange, and then the yellowish green comes in at more extreme angles. The reflective glitter in here does dry down with a little bit of texture. I found 1 coat of top coat smoothed it out very nicely for me. All of the reflective glitters in this release do have some texture. They don't have the wet sand level consistency as some previous reflective glitters often had. Depending on how thick your top coat is, you're going to need 1 to 2 coats of top coat to smooth everything out. My full-in swatches show it in 3 coats plus 2 coats of top coat. Do not scrub this polish off. The soak off method or a peel off base coat. This next polish is called We're Meant to Stand Out. It's described as being a clear base with orange to gold shimmer as well as lime green light reflective glitter. We're Meant to Stand Out also had a fantastic formula. The base did not feel really thick or thin, and I had 0 application issues. I was very excited for this polish, largely because I don't feel like Beezney has done a ton of colored reflective glitters the past few months. Found a lot of their colored light reflective glitter polishes from last year to be very thick. They had the wet sand level of consistency. I did not find that to be the case for this polish. The green reflective glitters do give this polish an overall very lime green look on the nail, but all of the color that you're getting is from the glitter as well as the shimmer. The reflective glitters do of course dry down textured. I did not notice them drying down any less or more textured than the silver reflective glitters Beezney has been using. My full-in swatches show this one in 3 coats plus 1 thick coat of top coat. Yes, I've been going back and forth this entire video on whether or not I use 1 coat of top coat or 2 coats of top coat for all of the reflective glitters. I couldn't make up my mind what I wanted to do, so that's what that was about. Do not scrub this polish off. Use the soak off method or a peel off base coat. Alrighty, and so that is it for the mystery polish spoilers. What did everyone think? As I mentioned earlier, I love the combination of shimmer and reflective glitter. Like, it's just...
I like it a lot.
I don't know which of these I'm going to pick as my top picks, honestly, because I really enjoyed them both. And since you made it to the end of the video, I am so sorry that I didn't really get good natural light photos for the reflective glitters. As you all know, I really hate using flash for reflective glitters. Like, I really prefer getting a natural light shot, because I feel like for me at least it comes out more true to life than a flash shot does. But in case you couldn't tell from the portions of the video that were in natural lighting, it was raining the entire time I was watching this release, and it was cold. I honestly didn't want to be outside that much, so I basically went in and out of being outside depending on how windy it was at the time of the swatch. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel, hi, I am Nicole. Wonderful to meet you. I'm assuming since you made it this far in that you're enjoying yourself as well, so you know, hit subscribe. I generally upload videos on Tuesdays and Saturdays. This past week and next week might be a little bit different just based on deadlines and also schedule. So if you enjoy the shenanigans, please feel free to join us here. And speaking of people who enjoy shenanigans, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigang. I will see you all next Friday for our members only live stream. I have a link in the description box to join my channel membership, so please don't feel pressured at all to sign up for channel membership. Just like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all the things, and seriously, we are good. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.